Blue Lock's top players are finally in their correct positions, whether it's as a striker, midfielder, defender, or even at home. But here's the thing, just knowing someone's position doesn't tell you how they play, because within every position, there are roles. And those roles completely change how the player moves, thinks, and dominates the pitch. So in this video, I'm breaking down every remaining Blue Lock player to reveal not just their position, but their true role in football, like false nines, ball winning mids, and more. And if you don't know what all these roles mean, don't worry, because I'll explain each one as we go. But first, let's quickly break down what roles actually are. Everyone knows a position tells you how a player lines up on the pitch. Like a midfielder, they obviously play in the middle of the field. But a role, however, tells you how that player actually plays. Like, is he a box-to-box runner, a creative playmaker, or a wide supporting player? Two players can play the same position and have completely different roles. And that's exactly what we're going to figure out player by player. Alright, let's start off strong with one of Blue Lock's biggest names, Rin Itoshi. When people talk about Rin, they usually just label him as a striker and leave it at that. But here's what's weird. A lot of fans debate Isagi's position constantly, yet barely anyone questions Rin. And honestly, they should. Rin isn't your traditional striker. His playstyle is aggressive, individualistic, and built around long-range curve shots. That's why I believe Rin's most realistic role is actually as an inside forward, specifically as a left winger. An inside forward is technically a winger, but instead of playing wide and crossing, they cut inside onto their strong foot and look to shoot. Basically, it's a striker who starts wide so they can have more space to attack one-on-one and more time to create their own shot. Rin fits that perfectly. He doesn't like relying on his teammates, and he wants to isolate his marker, beat them, and create chaos on his own terms. As an inside forward on the left, Rin can cut in onto his right foot, giving him the perfect angle for his signature curve shots. Now don't get me wrong, Rin is one of the most versatile attackers in the entire series. He could easily play as a striker, attacking mid, or even a finisher on the right side of the field if he needed. But based on his current traits and individual style, his best role right now is as an inside forward on the left side. Now we've got to talk about Isagi, easily the most debated player in Blue Lock when it comes to his position. Some fans swear he's a midfielder, others say he's a striker. And I've even already made an entire video breaking that down in detail, so check it out if you haven't. But I'm gonna do a short little section explaining basically what I said in that video over here. Starting off with Isagi's traits. Isagi's main weapons is his direct shot, his meta vision, and his off-ball movement. Those traits don't lock him into one simple role. That makes him a hybrid player, specifically a mix between a false nine and a Raumdeuter. A false nine is a striker who drops deep into the midfield, helping with link-up play, create overloads, and draw defenders out of position. A Raumdeuter, also known as a space interpreter, doesn't care about build-up. They make surgical runs into open space to finish chances. Isagi does both of these things. He starts deep, participates in build-up like a false nine, but as soon as space opens up, he switches gears, attacking like a Raumdeuter and finishing with his direct shot. That duality is exactly what makes Isagi so hard to define, but also makes him very effective as a player. So if I had to give him a tactical label, he's a false nine Raumdeuter hybrid, and no one else in Blue Lock is quite like him. Alright, let's move on from Isagi and Rin to the more balanced part of the pitch, the center midfielders. These are the glue guys, the one who connect the attack and the defense. And Blue Lock's got a few midfielders who fit real world roles surprisingly well. First up, Nanase. Honestly, he's one of the weaker characters still left in the program, but the reason he's lasted this long is because of two key things. He's ambidextrous and he's a great supporting player when around more skilled teammates. He's not flashy, he's not a playmaker, but he is a glue guy, someone who fills the gaps, covers space, and helps maintain structure. That's why Nanase's best fit is as a box-to-box midfielder, a player who contributes on both ends of the pitch, even if he isn't the main star. Next, a name that got more popular and more hype after the Ubers game, Hiori. What's interesting is he's never actually played as a center mid in a proper 11v11 setup throughout the entire series, even though this position and the role I'm about to give him suits him better than anything he has been playing. Hiori is arguably the best passer in Blue Lock. His meta vision works on both sides of the ball, and he has solid dribbling and shooting on top of that. All of that makes him the perfect advanced playmaker in the central midfield. The next one might surprise people, and it's Kurna. Kurna's playstyle revolves around quick, sharp movements, constant 1-2 passing, and supporting link-up play. Kurna is not a traditional center mid, which is why I have him labeled with his ideal role as a half winger. A half winger is a midfielder who drifts wide on the attack, exploiting the awkward space between the center backs, the fullbacks, and the CDMs. Kurna's elite agility and short passing give him the tools to connect with either the center mid or the winger on his team, constantly moving up the pitch in support. It's a niche role, but it fits him well, which is why I have him there. And finally, we have the midfield blueprint himself, Rayo. Rayo's a classic all-rounder. Passing, tackling, position, ball control, there's nothing he can't do. That's why his best role is as a box-to-box midfielder. But unlike Nanase, Rayo dominates on both ends of the field. He's not just the glue like Nanase is. Instead, he's the engine of a team. If you're building a midfield around one player, Rayo might be the safest pick out of the entire program. Alright, now let's move on from the creative side of the midfield to the defensive backbone, the defensive midfielders. These players don't just stop attacks, they control transitions, break up plays, and hold the entire system together. The first player to go over that's a defensive midfielder is Niko, one of the most consistent defensive players in Blue Lock. A lot of fans think Niko's already in his right spot, playing as a center back, defensive midfielder, hybrid role for the Ubers. But here's the thing, Niko lacks two of the most important traits as a true center back: size and physical dominance. He's not bad at defending, but he's not built to anchor the backline. What Niko is built for is reading the game. His metavision lets him cut off passing lanes and intercept threats before they happen. And during the Bastion Munchen vs Ubers match, he had more successful tackles than anyone we've seen in the entire series. On top of that, he's comfortable playing short passes and even contributed to Uber's counterattacks as a secondary playmaker. All of this makes him an ideal holding defensive midfielder. This role sits in front of the defense, breaking up plays, blocking shots, and moving the ball safely under pressure. It plays to Niko's biggest strengths while avoiding the issues he'd face as a center back. Next up, the pitbull of Blue Lock, Raichi. Raichi's entire identity revolves around relentless stamina, physical one-on-one defending, and just pure aggression. That's why his perfect role is as a ball-winning defensive midfielder. This type of role has one job: hunt down the opponent's most dangerous player and shut them down. We literally see this when Isagi tells Raichi to man-mark Snuffy. And even though he couldn't fully lock him out, Raichi made Snuffy's life significantly harder, which is no small feat. He's the type of player that makes stars uncomfortable, and every team needs one. And finally, we have Karazu, probably the most well-rounded and technically secure of the defensive mids. His strengths are excellent field awareness, strong ball control, clean short passing, and dribbling under pressure. Karazu's best role is a deep line playmaker, a defensive midfielder who stays back, controls the tempo, and distributes from deep while staying composed when pressed. This role is crucial in modern football because defensive midfielders are often the first target of a high press, and if they panic or lose the ball, it could lead to an immediate goal for the other team. But Karazu, he thrives under pressure. His composure and reading of the game makes him a safe outlet and a dangerous one too. Out of all the DMs in Blue Lock, he might be the one with the highest floor and the fewest weaknesses. Now let's move on to the last line of defense, the center backs. Only two players in Blue Lock truly fit this position, and both of them have completely different strengths. First up, the best pure center back in Blue Lock so far, Aiku. Aiku has the full package: meta vision for reading the field, physicality for duels, and strong tackling and awareness in 1v1s. But what sets him apart isn't just his defense, it's the fact that he's also comfortable on the ball. That's why I have Aiku as a hybrid between a ball-playing center back and a sweeper. Let me explain. A ball-playing center back is a center back who helps in build-up, not necessarily making through balls, but confidently distributing the ball and helping reset under pressure. We saw this during the Ubers match, where Aiku was arguably more impactful offensively than he was defensively, thanks to his key passes to Barou and support in transition. And as a sweeper, Aiku plays exactly how he did in the U20 match, cleaning up dangerous situations and acting as the final line of defense, making any last-ditch stops. This dual role makes him crucial in systems that want to play out from the back while still having a safety net defensively. The second and only other true center back in the program is Ryu. Ryu isn't as flashy or tactical as Aiku, but he's built like a defensive weapon. He's tall, strong, and got absurd reach thanks to his long limbs. That's why Ryu fits as a stopper center back. A stopper center back is an aggressor. They step out, challenge the ball, and deal with threats before they get into the box. Ryu's physical tools give him a major edge, especially in aerial duels, set pieces, and aggressive one-on-one defending. He's the kind of center back you pair up with more technical partners like Aiku. One hunts, the other sweeps. Simple role, but extremely effective when used right. Now let's take a look at the final defensive-minded position, the fullbacks. Surprisingly, there's only one player in Blue Lock who most realistic fit is this role. That player is Zentetsu. At first glance, Zentetsu might not seem like a defender at all, because he's known for his explosive acceleration and his occasional cut-in shooting. But here's the thing, even when he's played on the wing, he's never really shown much as an attacker. Defensively though, he's actually looked surprisingly solid. Despite lacking elite positioning or awareness, his raw speed allows him to recover quickly, close gaps, and even make crucial stops. That's why his best role is as a wingback, a fullback who pushes up the flank, overlaps wide attackers, and supports both offense and defense. Wingbacks don't need to be elite playmakers or shut down defenders. They need stamina, pace, and tactical discipline. And Zentetsu has the raw tools to thrive in that system, especially if you pair him with a more creative wide player or play him in a counter-attacking team. He might not have the IQ of a top-level fullback, but his athletic ceiling makes him the perfect wingback prospect. Now that we've covered the defensive players, let's move into the more attacking players, starting with the attacking midfielders. And in Blue Lock, there's really only one player who fits this role perfectly, and that player is Bachira. Bachira is one of the most unpredictable players in the entire series. He's known for his elite dribbling, chaotic creativity, and decent passing and finishing. And that chaos is exactly what makes him a free-roaming, central attacking midfielder. So let me explain. Cams often operate under pressure. They're swarmed by defensive mids and have to make quick decisions in tight spaces. But Bachira thrives in those situations. He's not a player who plays by structure or by systems. He's best when he has the freedom to drift, create, and go on 1v2s or even 1v3s. A standard playmaker would limit him, but as a free roaming cam, Bachira can pick up the ball deeper, weave through multiple defenders, and either create or score depending on the moment. That freedom is what unlocks his full potential. It lets Bachira improvise and become one of the hardest players in Blue Lock to shut down. Now it's time to look at the wingers, the ones who stretch the pitch, isolate defenders, and create chances from the flanks. And first up is Kiora. Kiora's main traits are his low-driven passes and shots, and his unique dribbling. All of that makes him a natural, wide playmaker. This role isn't about being flashy or explosive. It's about being smart, clean, and helping others to shine. Wide playmakers drift into central pockets, connect with midfielders and overlapping fullbacks, and deliver low, precise passes into dangerous areas. It's a support-heavy role, and Kiora's technical consistency and low-driven passing makes him perfect for it. Next, Yukimiya. Yukimiya thrives in one-on-one dribbling, aggressive cut-ins, and looking for his own shot. That's the blueprint of an inside forward. Inside forwards play wide, but only to isolate their defender. The moment they get the ball, they cut inside towards goal, aiming to shoot instead of crossing. Yukimiya's dribbling flair and goal-scoring mentality makes him ideal for this role. He's not there to assist, he's there to beat his man and score. Then we've got the more off-ball specialist, Otia. Otia's main traits are speed and sharp and sneaky movements. That's what makes him a Raumdeuter style winger. This role is constantly looking for empty spaces where the defense isn't watching. While others are calling for the ball, Otia is already moving to the next dangerous spot. He won't beat you with the dribble, he'll beat you with positioning. In a system that values off-ball movement, Otia is one of the most valuable wide options to have. And finally, Tsuzure. He's known for his pure speed, diagonal cut-ins, and the 44 Panther snipe shot. Tsuzure is a textbook inside forward. Like Ukamiya, he uses the wing, but not to cross. Instead, he uses it to cut in and create his ideal angle for a shot. The speed and vertical movement makes him one of the most lethal transition wingers in the entire series, perfect for an inside forward. And finally, we've reached the end, so let's break it down and talk about the strikers. But here's the thing, even though Blue Lock is supposed to be full of them, only a few players actually fit the role realistically, and they all approach it in completely different styles. The first striker to talk about is Barou. Barou is one of the most lethal finishers in the entire series. He's strong, decisive, and extremely consistent in front of goal. That's why Barou's best role is as an advanced forward, a high line striker who plays off the shoulder of defenders, waiting to receive the ball and go straight for goal. Whether it's a turn and shoot just outside the box or a ruthless finish inside the 6-yard box, Barou lives to score. He's not there for link-up play, he's just there to finish off the play, which makes him a great advanced forward. Next up is actually Barou's Uber's teammate, Sendo. Sendo is a weird case as he's not a pure striker, and some might even say he's closer to a cam, but based on what I've seen, his best role is as a second striker. Second strikers play just behind the main forward. They link up around that striker, supporting the attack and occasionally taking their own shots. Sendo doesn't dominate the spotlight like Barou, but instead creates space and makes smart passes to add value to his team. You can think of him as kind of like the glue guy between the attackers and the midfielders, and he's extremely useful in a setup that uses 2 strikers. Next up, we have a pick that I myself am not even too sure about, and that player is Kunigami. Some people rate him as a center defensive midfielder based on his performance during the PXG match. And yeah, he did play well in that role, but honestly, I think playing as a CDM wastes too many of Kunigami's skills. Kunigami's best traits is his long range shooting, his strong physique, and his ambidexterity. These traits is why I have Kunigami as a target forward. A target forward is a tall, physical striker who can receive passes with his back to the goal and then lay it off to others or even shoot when given space. We've already seen Kunigami have this playstyle multiple times as he's done these kind of layoff passes for both Kaiser and Isagi. It's a role that fits both his frame and his skill set quite well. Up next, one of the most explosive players in Blue Lock, Shido. Shido doesn't really care about positioning or build up. All he cares about is scoring, and that's it. Shido's playstyle makes him a textbook poacher. He chills in the opponent's team's box and waits for his opportunity to score, whether it's from a pass or a rebound. Shido lives in the box. Once he gets the ball in there, he's already ahead of everyone else and just gonna shoot the ball and score. It's a simple role, but when it's done well, it can be lethal. And last but not least, we got a player that isn't even in the top 23 anymore, and it's Nagi. Even though he's technically not in the top 23, I decided to keep him in this video because he's a fan favorite, or at least was a fan favorite. Nagi's main strength is his insane first touch. I have Nagi's ideal position as a target man, someone who receives the ball high up, holds it, and waits for the rest of his team to push forward. His ability to control any kind of pass makes him incredibly valuable in a possession-based or counter-attacking system. Even though he's not the fastest or most aggressive or even creative, Nagi's the kind of striker who can make your team calmer, cleaner, and smarter in the attack, as you can kind of just reliably pass to him anyhow you want and he'll keep the ball. So now that's every player's role broken down, from the inside forwards to the ball winning mids and even target mans. The big question is, do you guys actually agree with all of them? Or do you think I got someone completely wrong? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this mix of football tactics and Blue Lock, consider subscribing, as that's the type of content I post.